I feel like I'm such a late bloomer in business. Going to conferences, going to meet people in conferences really helps me. Spending time in that, spending a bunch of my free time on learning new things about the products, seeing what's coming. I should have joined these things a long time ago because those literally help you like skip so many levels. And someone's like, I've already bought 3 buildings. This is the dude. This is the thing. This is, don't do the SBA loan because this sucks. Do this thing. Like you get to skip a ton of stuff. Find someone who's like way ahead of you. You might be in a room with a guy who's doing 3 million, or you might be next to a dude who does like $1 billion in sales a year in some of these rooms, in some of these places, you know?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Unlike Marketing. Today is another podcast with an amazing guest. We have here Ben Buckley. I hope I said your last name correct.
Correctly. Yeah.
Awesome. Ben Buckley is the owner of Digital Dreams, a Northern California-based leader in commercial audio-visual integration, direct view LED walls, and installation, and advanced Verkada security system. With over 20 years in the industry, Ben has grown Digital Dreams from a one-man side hustle in the 8-figure enterprise, serving high-profile clients across the U.S. That's awesome. That's the story we want to hear. Thank you very much, Ben, to join me on my podcast. It's really a pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's a great intro too that you just gave there. Yeah, it's been 20 years, be 21 and 26. And I started doing satellites, how I started. So I was working for a Dish Network. I call it my first like big boy job, right? And I have 5 kids. And at the time I had 4. And I had my daughter was born in 98, and then my son that was born in the year 2000, and then I had twin boys. So I'm working at Dish Network in the beginning, and I was like, I just call it like my first like big boy job. You know, I was like, oh man, I'm like learning how to do stuff. I'm learning how to do stuff with my hands. I was always like into tech stuff. And so I'm installing satellite dishes on houses residentially from like early 2000s, like, right. And I was 2 years as a tech, then I became a manager after my last 2 years there, right? And so 2 years as a tech, I moved up really quick. I became like a manager of the technicians, and there I learned how to like route technicians. What technicians know what skills? Who can I put on certain jobs? Who can troubleshoot best, right? Because I had to know the people, know the product, know who to pair, and where to send them on what cities, right? And so that's like the beginning. And so I was watching Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, right? Yeah. I was watching him on the Iced Coffee Hour the other day, and he made this, I'm gonna butcher it, but he made this comment. He's like, you're on this rocket, and all of a sudden like a little pebble hits you, and then it changes your whole trajectory. That's what happened to me. I was working at Dish. I'm like, I'm this career guy. This is great. I'm 20 something, and I'm gonna be a manager. I'll be general manager, and I'll be, and I got a DUI in 2004, and they let me go immediately. And that was the beginning of me working for myself, right? And so I was already doing a couple side jobs here and there, working at Dish. I'd go run cable for someone on the side on the weekend for extra like diaper money for the kids, And so I would do that on the side. So I had like a side hustle. I get let go. I end up doubling my pay. That I go work for a subcontractor, a satellite dish subcontractor, and I think I was making like, I don't know, 31,000 salary at the time. And then I left there, went to this other satellite subcontractor, and I started making $1,000 a week. And I thought I was balling. I was like, man, I'm making so much money. It's like doubled my weekly pay. I was like, I just doubled my whole income. I'm making $1,000 a week over here on the side, And so I had that day job, and then I also had side jobs where I was still doing like satellite stuff on the side. And so then eventually grew to where I had so many customers on the side, I just couldn't show up to work anymore because I had too many of my own customers. And so it was like a gradual thing, right? So I get let go. I have this other day job thing, and then I'm like doing satellite stuff on the side and cabling on the side. Then I started getting into like custom homes. And then eventually I transitioned into commercial, which is like the best thing for me. There's a lot of money in residential. It's just a different type of beast, and you have different type of things to do with AV, because we got out of satellite. I got into like hanging TVs. I was hanging TVs. I was, doing stuff for My first big contracts that I started doing was not, they weren't even that big contracts, but Sears would sell TVs, and I would go to Sears, pick up the TV, and deliver it for Sears, right? And so then I would meet customers that way, right? And so Sears would literally pay me $50, right? I would drive to the store, wait for an hour to get the TV out of the store, drive another 30 minutes to the customer's home, set the TV up, take the trash out, take their 300-pound Sony Trinitron TV out that weighed a ton, and they'd give me $8 to throw that thing out. And so we only did it because it was a good way to meet customers and then sell them something on the side. Right. And so that's how we grew. Like, I think around 2009, 10, somewhere around there, I had like 10,000 residential customers between Sears customers, Best Buy. We started with Circuit City too. So we did Circuit City, Sears, Best Buy, Target, Walmart. Anybody who sold a TV, they needed subcontractors to put them in. And so we signed up with all of those people, and, it took over a whole territory of like Sacramento down to the Bay, because we're based out of Sacramento, but we cover the entire Bay Area in California now. And so that's what we started doing. So we would do all these little residential TV hangs, or just set them up. Sometimes you just set the TV on a stand, you didn't even hang them, and so that's how I like learned a bunch of that stuff. I got into custom homes, and other people were like, "Oh, I'm building this custom home. Can you pre-wire it?" So I got into a little bit of custom homes and higher end multi-room audio and stuff like that, but eventually phased it out and then went all commercial. I think, like, for me, the difference between the residential and the commercial, even though there's a ton of money in both, is when you do someone's home, they have like buyer's remorse sometimes. If they spend like 30 grand, and then they're like, oh, and then they're like, they overspend, and they're like super nitpicky, and they're like, oh, I want the wall plate to be almond, and you put in white, and they complain a lot and stuff. Whereas if you do something commercial, it's literally like spec, hang the TV 5 foot 4 inches off finished floor. Nobody lives there. Nobody cares at the end of the day if the wall plate's the wrong color. You know what I mean? It's like, and they have a budget amount of money to do something like that. And so I think losing that headache of like someone complaining to you all the time, because they live with it, they see it, they spent a bunch of money, and then they think they feel like they own you, or like they call you at 10 o'clock at night, like, my TV's not working. And then like, you check the batteries in the remote. I don't know. Like,
Okay. Yeah, no, makes sense. I can see that like for almost any job, it's always like I mean, it changed a little bit, like personal, sometimes we call like the smaller jobs is like there are people that because they didn't organize really a budget, they just like, they do more like an emotional buy. Then it's like they buy because like they're excited, but then like they look at the bank account, they're like, woof, I put really a lot on this. And now they want to use every cent of it. Like they're like, I'm gonna use everything. If I need to call you, I'm calling you like at night at 12. Like
yeah, exactly. That's the exact mentality.
it's like, yeah, I think it's funny because uh I think even growing up myself, I had to leave from that mentality. I think everyone grow up with that kind of like mentality, because also when you grow up, like there is the idea of like, if we go to the restaurant, we buy this plate of food, your parents is like, you have to finish all. They always get that mentality. You have to eat you have to buy. If we paid for that pizza, you have to eat all the pizza. We don't throw it away. Like we take it with the has home, and you're gonna keep eating until
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's just like ingrained, right? Yeah.
it's hard to go away from that. When most of the time, probably bigger business, the things is like, as you say, they have budget. Some people they buy, they don't even know the budget of the business, and that they're not even the one accepting the budget. They're
Exactly.
financial.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
things. No, that's funny. I like how it was kind of like listening to your process was almost like stairs. Like, okay, I'm making these steps, I'm doing this job, and then this job will go to the next steps, next steps, the next steps. It's
Yeah, it was definitely gradual.
Yeah, exactly. And many people, they will think about now seeing you or meeting you like, oh wow, look at this guy, went from 0 to 9 figure, 8 figure, like and almost feeling like you went in a day, just because like they just met you and they think like you exploded, but actually there was such a story behind you. was like a process.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a ton. There's a huge in every entrepreneur story. I'm sure there's just a ton of steps and failures and bunch of crap on the way. You know what I mean? That you're like dealing with. Yeah, and that's even like the light version of just like skipping up to that point. Just trying to paint the picture. Of like how we got there. But it's fun. And if you like what you do, then it you'll just keep getting up and doing it. You know what I mean? And so yeah, and then we got into commercial, right? And then in commercial, there's like different levels of AV, right? There's like you have like high end audio, or you have like the thing nowadays with COVID and stuff is like Zoom rooms, like all like Facebook, everybody they have like hundreds of Zoom rooms. You know what I'm saying? So that's like a whole like sector almost. You know what I mean? Like, is it a Teams or Zoom room? Is it Logitech? Is it Neat? Is it what product are you using? How do you use it? They have room schedulers outside of every room. That's like a whole like channel of business almost that people specialize in, literally in just Zoom rooms in like commercial tech and modern day like tech offices in the Bay Area. And so we got into that and like you listed off Verkada. So Verkada is a high end security system where we do badge access and cameras and monitoring and stuff like that. And so we do a ton of that. And so now we have recurring revenue with the business because every device we sell has a license. I don't know if you're familiar with that, And so, yeah, for years for years I was trying to get like some sort of way to have my business to have a recurring revenue, So it's not just always like, I'm done with that job. Now I got to go get the next one. It's still kind of like that, but we're slowly adding licenses yeah, to make it.
And explain, I like that. That's a great point because I mean I do consulting and often like that's one things I try uh to divide people when it comes to products and everything. Trying to create a products like as a recurring revenue is like the key because it actually brings money or often, and like people they have to come back there. But like I want you to explain that, like how did you get there? How did you get to the point where like we need something that does a recur avenue? How was that process for you?
Oh man, there were so many different ways to try. So when I had like those 10,000 customers, we would literally have like my phone would just blow up. I had like the craziest tech support. Like I was like tech support dude, right? So my phone would be like 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 o'clock. People calling, oh, this is wrong. I don't know how to turn the volume up. I don't know how to do this, right? I was joking. I wanted to get a 900 number that you could call me and I'd talk to you for $2.99 a minute back then, just because I was going to talk super slow. Like, yeah. yeah. But I made it the cert. I like reconfigured my website one time in like 2008 or 9, right? And I started figuring out like how to take reoccurring payments, right? And all my customers that were like who needed tech support called me all the time. I was like, just pay me $5 a month, go to my website, fill it out. You could schedule a trouble call with me, and we'll give you like X amount of time to come talk to you on the phone, and we'll come to your home, and then it'll give you discounts every time you rebuy from us. That was like my first attempt, but it was so hard because by the time I started working on that, I had maybe 6 guys that were working for me, but they were still 1099. They weren't even full employees yet. They're still driving their own trucks, but by now I have so many different guys working for me that are in their own trucks, or like one of my own trucks, or like a broken down van I had, and we're delivering TVs. I needed them to sell the $5 thing to the people. And my guys, over the years, I found out there's installers and there's sales guys, and they're not the same guy, and my my installers sometimes just could not upsell or for the life of them get people to convert. I would get people to convert, and we had a bunch, and I just eventually turned it off because it wasn't like enough or worth it, and we moved on. But that was one of the original ideas to like get recurring revenue. And then I tried a couple other little random things here and there. But when I found Verkada in 2020, I loved the product so much. I wasn't even thinking about the recurring revenue part of it. It was so different compared to every other brand that we sold as far as cameras and access control go. And so then when I started getting into that, and I started getting so many customers with it, I don't even know. I think we have a couple thousand licenses out there now. It's not too much, but some of those licenses are like $549 a license at retail or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, and they're annual, so they're not monthly. So it's annual recurring revenue. And it's all parsed out in different times. If I sign up someone today, I complete his install and he signs a 3-year, he doesn't renew for 3 years. You know what I mean? And so you got to keep accumulating a ton for them to really start hitting in month to month to month. So it's a longer time to get your recurring revenue going with that model. But I've been doing it for 5 years now with them, and so I'm constantly getting renewals. Like it's really starting to hit now. Yeah, and so yeah, so I think since I was still like a mom and pop shop, and I didn't really have like that much help in the office at the time, it was too hard for me to manage payroll, routing, tech support, a recurring revenue model, a website, and like all that stuff for me personally at the time. I couldn't get it going. But as I was established and this product was more established and I had more people in the office and I have like real software like NetSuite to like maintain it all now, for me, that was like the hardest part for me to get that going. And so yeah, with Verkada, that recurring revenue really helps us. And it helps us stay engaged with your customers too, because then it's like I can reach out to them, like, how's things going? Blah, blah, your renewals coming up. Is there anything else we could do for you or whatever? If I think a lot of small companies don't like reach out as much to their existing customers. You know what I mean? And this kind of gives you like that excuse, or like if they have a problem, they have 24/7 tech support. So if they ever log in themselves to work on something, they're like, oh, my camera's not doing. I get an email like, hey, your customer has a problem. And so they have a whole system built in and they do the tech support for me. The customer has 24/7 access to Verkada, and they could troubleshoot with them. And so that's another big relief for us internally, is they troubleshoot with them. If it doesn't work, they send us and we physically have to go check something maybe. Right. And so that business model for my business really helped, where they took on a bunch of the heavy lifting. I had some software, we're more established, and now I can keep growing the customers and the revenue, the annual recurring revenue. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good model. It's almost like a franchise type of model, like nothing. One question, like you were saying, like obviously, you were start to have a hard time to do all the things yourself and everything. Like, what was for you the one key person that you saw, like, this is the first person I need to hire, like, as a real employee, because I need this person?
Yeah, that took forever. That literally like it took forever. So I had a bunch of key employees that would help me in the office. Right, I just need people to help me dispatch and invoice. I just need you to help me get the guys routed and then send the invoices out, and I'll go out there and I'll do the job and I'll help you do it. Right, and so I had a couple, 2, 3, 4 office people, I would call them, that were helping me like dispatch route and call customers and schedule the guys and make sure the guys are ready. And even then in the beginning, until I would say 2015 or 16 there, even that person for me was still like an hourly 1099 person. I didn't convert everybody into employees yet until about 2017. And then I had enough where, cause so to break it down is like a lot of the jobs we would do were flat rate. And if I paid a guy hourly, I would lose. Right, I would lose on the job because I didn't have enough going. So then if someone paid me $250, I'd pay the tech $150 to go hang the screen. We'd have $50 for gas and $50 left over for the office or something. It was structured like that. So you hang a TV this size, you get this rate. You hang a TV this size, you get rate. And so it was like that for the longest time, when I had my hands in a bunch of pots where I was just doing flat rate jobs until I had enough of my own sales where I'm charging hourly. I could charge above the hourly to make sure I'm paying for his time, drive time, and all that other stuff. But that took me forever to convert. And it was night and day, because when I did, the guys loved it. They were getting paid drive time now. They're getting overtime. It was more worth it for that. I got to retain better employees, switching from the 1099 model, who worked for me all the time. I still have subcontractors that help me on the side, and I'm getting away from your question, my key person, but I still have subcontractors where I use that 1099. So around 2017 is when I really started getting into like hiring. Like, I need real full-time project managers in my office, sitting with me all day, talking to all the customers, talking to all the emails. And so I needed project managers, and those were like my real first hires. Was like 2 project managers in my shop with me all day, meeting the guys, and they're doing multiple hats. They're like getting parts orders, so like half warehouse, and they're like, helping me do payroll sometimes here and there. They're doing the invoices, and I'm still paying everybody myself. I'm still like going in, logging in, paying them. I'm writing them checks. I'm using QuickBooks. I was like living in Excel for like the longest time of my life, like dumb Excel fake invoices with like my logo and emailing invoices off like
Was
that.
saving money. It's
Yeah,
different
yeah.
than QuickBooks.
Yeah, exactly. And then I got the QuickBooks, and then that was a huge game changer, right? And so, yeah, my office person to help me take that, so I could figure out like what am I best at? Like, is it best at getting customers? Is it best at talking to the techs? Is it best at what am I best at? I just knew that I had to get rid of a bunch of stuff. So my first key people were like project managers, just to run everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it means that I can assume that probably you were pretty good when it comes to sales, like find the customer and everything. That was something that you probably enjoyed and you were also good at it. Is that
Yeah, exactly. And what's weird is I never thought of myself as a salesperson because my sales weren't like picture a sales guy, like I have this product, I get a lead, I'm going to show you this product. Because for the longest time, my business model was I'm selling custom labor to another major company who already sold this product. And I had to prove who I was in the marketplace to be like, we do this. We hang a crap ton of TVs. We're going to go do it and we're going to do it. So my sales pitch was like me to project managers at major AV companies or manufacturers to say, hey, we do this. There was no online marketing for me ever. I'll get into some online marketing with you, some cool stuff that I did try, but still to this day, I do zero online marketing except for my YouTube channel.
okay? Yeah, that's means like normally, you go like you meet those company managers and everything in person. Like, where do you meet them? Like, how do you meet them? You just go mount their
Conferences.
AV conferences. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll go to like an AV conference and meet somebody, or someone introduced me from another company. They leave that company, they go to another company. They liked me. They're in the same role, but another competitor. And then they call me back. They're like, don't worry, I got a guy. He'll help us. He never let me down at the last place, so then they bring me over to stuff like that. But that goes from like years and years of trust. It's like the longest, you know, con to be like doing what you're doing, promise what you're doing, because it's not a con. Staying up. If you mess up, pay for it, fix it, move on to the next one, and prove that you're going to continue to keep doing that. And then when they leave that place and they go to another place, they'll call you and be like, Ben never let me down, and so, yeah.
It's like the old type referrals, pretty much.
Yeah,
I feel like
exactly.
the best clients are most of the time comes through referral, even through marketing, like in all the marketing spectrum. And that's why I like the unlike marketing. The idea is like it's like yeah, there is ads, there is everything, and they work. There is place for that. But in the end of the day, mostly for service businesses, like the best clients you get are the one comes through referral, and because like they kind of know you without knowing you, because like someone that they trust told them like he's the guy, and they feel like now they know you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's that trust. And then it's like, it's a path of least resistance for somebody too. They're looking for someone. They're stressed. They got to figure out this high-end job's got to get done. And they're looking, someone's like, oh, I know a guy. Here's his work. And they already trust that person. So you already gain exactly what you're saying. You gain their trust by default from their friend at the company. They see some of the stuff you do, and then bam, then as long as you do what you say you're gonna do.
Is a is the quality then that matter. um One question, like, if I don't know if you can share and everything, but like I'm really curious, like which one was one of your biggest project or like biggest client? I don't know if you can share, but like kind of like curious to kind of like connect with maybe like a name that other people can know.
Yeah, we have a bunch of big projects. It's hard to name them all. I just finished a big one right now. We're the labor only. We installed in San Francisco a 1,400 square foot LED wall for Salesforce, their headquarters in San Francisco. Yeah, my YouTube video, we have like a 10-part drop of that's coming out. So we did this huge LED wall. It's a famous LED wall that's we refreshed it. It was there for about 10 years, and we upgraded to a higher res screen. Yep. And so the manufacturer hired us to do that. So Salesforce didn't hire us, but the manufacturer hired us to do it for Salesforce in the lobby. So that's a huge project that we just finished. That was like a month and a half ago. And it was like a long project. It was like 16,000 pounds. We had to rip out of old product, reinstall another 16,000 pounds, take it all out. Don't drop anything on the floor. Don't damage the lobby floor. And you had to work from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. because those are the hours you had to work while you don't disturb everybody walking in this main lobby, right? Yeah, so that was a big project we just finished, and we'll have some YouTube videos I could share with you of it. There's one dropping every week right now of that project. We have a couple other like tech companies going on right now where we're doing Verkada at Perplexity, Cursor, a couple other like Cloudflare. Like those are like big customers. Yeah, we help them maintain their Verkada at their HQ in San Francisco and a couple other locations around. They have multiple vendors because they're so big. I couldn't even handle every location, and so they have like a lot of people. I'm not at that global level like them, but locally we help them with a bunch of product and stuff.
Nice. Do you mostly service the California area, or like do you also like are you trying also to expand maybe inside the United States, like all the other states?
Yeah, it's a good question. In 2018, one of my biggest customers wanted me to expand with them, and I started expanding and contracting to 31 states. Okay, and so in 2018, I started contracting all different guys all through 31 states. I was so stressed out. I thought I had a heart attack twice. I went to the ER twice that year, and they're like, "You're just stressed out." And so after that year, I scaled it down to just like 5 states. These 5 states of the guys that I knew, I trusted, and I still work with them to this day. And we do a bunch of projects together. So currently, my employees are out of Northern California, and I have subcontractors in SoCal, Vegas, Oregon, Washington, Texas. One guy like on the East Coast, and so that's where I'm comfortable at with servicing as far as like projects we will take on for like smaller projects. If it's a larger project, like next year, we do travel. So earlier this year, I did 2 LED walls at Madison Square Garden. I did an LED wall at Penn Station. I didn't know this, but I don't know if you know, the listeners probably know this, but I didn't realize when I went to New York that Madison Square Garden is sitting on top of Penn Station. I didn't know that. So they're the same address. It's like you come out of Penn Station, you walk up to the street, and you're looking at Madison Square Garden. It's Yeah, so I did a LED wall Penn Station in New York. So if it's a bigger project, we will travel, and the customers who hire us know that we aren't local there. We're going to stay there. We're going to do the work, and then we're going to make sure it works right. And then after that, you have to have someone local to service it. So we do travel for larger projects. And next year we have some other big projects in New York. We have a job on Fifth Avenue out there. We have that we're going to be out there like multiple stops throughout the year. And I have another big project coming up in January in Miami and locally for BART. I don't know if you're familiar with the Bay Area or BART, the Bay Area Rapid Transit. Um, uh, it's like the main train station, like it's like the New York subway, but for the Bay Area.
For the Bay? Okay.
Yep. We're upgrading their whole system to LED. Currently, for their network operations center, they have projectors, and the projectors stitch into one big image, and that's how they watch every train. But the system's so old, we're upgrading it to an LED wall, 3 LED walls. So they're going from projection to this high res LED wall. It's going to be sweet. So we have that coming up next year too.
That sounds also really big.
Yeah, so that's a cool one, and so I don't want to get back into every state. There are other guys like me that are in like major states that I'm friends with, some of the major companies that do that. But I don't plan on growing like that. I plan on just continuing to grow with more in this niche LED business and with the Verkada.
Yeah, and also like I can understand that like for you it's like at the end of the day the health it's important. And it's like we don't want to push too much to get to a point where like we are losing our health. And also like you say you have kids and everything, I imagine that's also another part of it. Like you won't spend time with them, you don't want to be stressed out and always on the phone every second to trying to figure out things, and you can all get time with your kids.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of my kids, I have 5 kids. They're all adults now. So my oldest is 27, my son 25, twin boys just turned 23, and my youngest is 18. And she just went to college.
It's empty then in the house now.
Yeah, I still have like 2 of them. My twins are staying with me still. So my twins are staying with me. One of them works for me. But they're adults and they're like never home and they're just doing whatever, so I don't really see them that much.
That's interesting. And I've like just like a connection I was making things like you said at the beginning, like one of the things that kind of like changing your direction where took you to here was that DUI. I was kind of curious that DUI was part of like a time where, because obviously you had younger kids, probably also maybe you were stressed with the work and everything. Was part of that the reason why you were kind of like drinking and happened what happened?
Oh yeah, there was a ton of that. I was, I had my first kid at 19. I'm 47, so my first kid at 19. I'm still 20 something. I got like four little ones. I'm like scraping pennies to get diapers. Like just to freaking stay afloat back then. You know what I mean? Just 'cause having so many kids and being that young. You know what I mean? And so then that was also a drive. My kids were a huge drive for me to like be better, do better, and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And having kids at like 19, I'm still like a kid. I'm still not knowing like what to do. I'm still like freaking trying to figure out life and kids and raising them and stuff. And so yeah, definitely stress and a ton of stuff like that. Um, but yeah, that trajectory like kicked me out of being this company man. Like there's other things that you can make more money, and my father was an entrepreneur, and he owned his own marketing business. Uh he used to work for this company called J. Walter Thompson, and they're like a huge like OG like marketing company back in the day, pre like internet stuff. You know what I mean? And he would do graphic design and like come up with logos and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And he worked for himself for almost his whole life too. So it's like that's probably going to eventually end up that path following him or something. But that thing like really kicked me in the high gear. Like, just get out there and go get it. Go get somebody. Get up. Go do that. Go hang. Someone calls you on the weekend. Go hang that TV. Go get that $200. Come back and freaking and just grew and grew and grew. And when you like what you're doing, it's fun. It's still stressful, obviously, at certain times. Even now, it's
Running a business is always like there is always that not balance. Like that's the one kind of like the key things, because I hear so many times like you cannot be an entrepreneur if you're trying to balance thing, like to be balanced. And there is understanding on that. Like you can like you have to be extreme, but like even in the extreme, you have to find like that specific balance between all the things you have. Because like if you are push it too much in one side, something is gonna fail sooner or later. Like your health is not gonna support, your family is not gonna be there. Like you have to kind of like, if you're extreme here, you have kind of like sooner or later you have to try to be extreme everywhere. Because if you leave here down, they're just gonna go down while this goes up.
yeah. You don't have enough eyes around the back of your head to watch everything to balance. Yeah. So it will, and sometimes it still will tip too high. Sometimes you're like, oh, I'm getting too far. I got to freaking come down and delegate some stuff or something. It's so hard, like, it's like sometimes like a big project comes, like I'm on this big project right now, that I'm working on, that's like consuming a bunch of our time right now to get this project with this deadline, yeah, I'm with you. So yeah, you have to freaking figure out. Yeah, I don't think there really is like a good work-life balance or what people look for like that, but yeah, you still are, whatever that means to you, whatever that proportion means to you. Like, when I hear people say, oh, work-life balance, I think they want to picture it like all even. 8 hours of work, 8 hours of family, 8 hours of rest, and really it's like 14 hours of work, 2 hours of rest, and like 3 hours of family or something, whatever you're happy with and whatever that median is, you just have to figure out what works.
Exactly. And then maybe it can change. It's like also season. I think like we're not supposed to stay at the top speed for too long. Like if you are, it's like in a car, like you cannot just push on the pedal. It's a F1, like if you then not be like at top speed all the time, because there are some turns you have to be able to turn. If you're in top speed all the time, you're not gonna turn. You're gonna go.
Yeah, you crash out.
Exactly. And that's I think the same thing with our life. We cannot push all the time. There's time where rest is needed, where you have to look at your family, you have to look at your health. And if you don't, like sooner or later your body is gonna crash out. Like something inside of you is gonna crash out. It's gonna knock at you and be like, hey, you remember you were pushing that day? Here. This is the payment for it. This is the invoice for that regarding that.
Yeah, it's taking that money. It's taking that from you, that time, whatever it is from you. Yeah, for sure. It's a good analogy.
It's always there. I was like, one thing that it's kind of important for my channel and everything, because obviously I'm a big believer, and I believe that God is like, there is a path that he takes on us. Obviously I don't know if you're a believer and everything, but like um do you believe that like all the steps you have taken, there was like something bigger, like someone that was helping you. Obviously, I don't know if you believe or not. That's
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. I believe in God. And I think there is a path for people. And I think that, I think you have to be open to it and also like paying attention to certain things because you could miss out on opportunities that were handed to you or something because you're just like, I'm just gonna go drink on the couch instead today. You know what I mean? Yeah, so yeah, there is, and I think I think opportunities are there for you and you have to listen to them and watch out for them from a higher power too, and stay on that path and always doing right. Like our core values are like I there's no number I won't go in the hole to make something right for somebody on some job. You know what I mean? I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. We messed up. There's a broken TV. We're buying another one. We're shipping it. It's coming down and we're coming to bring it. And that's it. I don't care. Even if they don't want to talk to me again, I tell them all the time, like, you're upset. I can't make it right. You can call me. I'll still service it for free for the year. And, when you're not so upset and, freaking call me back and just make sure you're not out of money. I got the parts done. Like, sometimes you break eggs. Like, what's that saying where you have to make an omelet, you got to crack eggs? Like, I say it all the time. Like, sometimes you break a TV, sometimes you break a couple things on the way, but I'll make it up for you. No one's perfect, and I'll keep coming back, and that moral compass, I think, helps. You know what I mean? Because you can't be on your A game all the time. You're tech, because you're managing people, and people have different days. Even though you're installing a product or something that you're putting in, you're still this service. Sometimes I could have one of my lead techs, and he's doing great for most of the week. He has a bad day at home and it comes and it transitions back into my customer's day. Right. And so when you're juggling people's personalities and stuff, it's not like I'm going to buy this juice. And every time I get this juice, it's 2 parts ginger, it's 1 part, whatever. And every time it's the same. We're humans. It's a little different. Right. And so on that path, if you don't believe in God and stuff like that, and you're not like recognizing that things are happening, you got to remember that dude has his own life and that he has something going on. And you have to have like this balance with that and to help guide them into your moral compass. If everybody believes in that path in your company, whatever your moral compass is, that'll help keep it going. You know what I mean? And keep everybody happy and on the same path. You know what I mean? I don't know if that really answers the question, but yeah.
no, that's a great mess. I mean, like that's speaks a lot because when you speak about, like there's the side of grace, like you have to give grace to people. Like you can have bad day, another person can have bad day. It's like the word tend to kick us really strong many times, and we need someone that can give us grace. And then there is the other side of what you were saying, like be generous. I mean, like if you make a mistakes, and I'm sure, like actually I come to you, like have you ever felt that the time that you have give it back and you have even went red to have make sure that you were 100%, the customer was 100% happy? Did you ever felt that went like turn it against you later on? I just
No, I don't think it's ever turned against me. Maybe they harm me a couple years down the road. Maybe they don't, but I know I didn't leave them hanging and they know I didn't leave them hanging. You know what I mean? And so no matter what, it's at some sort of balance, right? Like it's made even. And I've never had it go bad. If they don't call me again, it's okay. Cause I still feel like my moral compass is good. I still feel like my karma's good. I still feel like they're never going to come back and sue me because they can't sue me for anything because I made it right. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we don't do work together again, but at some point they have to respect that I still did it no matter what. I don't ask for extra money. I don't nitpick them about nothing. We just go do it. We fix it. And sometimes you just butt heads with certain personalities, and that's okay. And we can, as an entrepreneur later on in 20 years of business, and you get on some stuff, it's okay to fire some customers yourself. Because some people you just don't get along with, or some people you just don't want to. It's not worth the headache to have you hounding me all the time. I just go somewhere else and it's fine. We can move on. But when you're on the come up, everybody, no matter what, you don't want to lose a single person. You want to change like maybe what you would normally do just to save face, to like try to hang on to them because you really need that $1,000 for payroll or something. But as you get more established and you know yourself and you know your worth and stuff, you have a little more play to like also turn customers away. But it doesn't come right away.
Yep. No, I love that. That's I mean, when we were saying balance before, again, that's another weird balance things. But like, yeah, you have to be kind with people, generous. You get for a job, you have to get the job done. But then like also you should recognize when people treats you like too bad. I mean, customers, they don't respect you, they don't respect your employees, or like they are like rude, then after you have given everything and you have made things right and you have built the service, like if you are like, no, okay, it's done, I'm gonna fire you, like I cannot keep this because it's toxic. There is that, like you have to do it, like,
Yeah, you
because
have to.
we always
It's not worth it.
have that law, that things like hire slow, fire fast for like employees. But I think sometimes that could be also like with customers, is like when you have some customers and it's really toxic and that's not good, like it's creating really big problem inside your own business. You have to be able to fire fast even your customers, like, and trust that you're gonna find someone better, because like I know when you're in the beginning, you're like, you want to make money, you're like, I need this, I need the money, I need the money, but like your health, the company is more important.
And sometimes in the beginning days, you got to suck it up anyways, and you just go through it, just to get paid and move on, and or try to talk to them. Yeah, and it's still like that. We still have some people that like get really close, and we're like, okay, they're like, we'll keep on to, we'll keep it with them for a little bit longer. But if they do one more mistake, but you have to know that line, and so yeah, it's the same thing. It's like everything with owning business is moving targets. Like everything's moving targets. Customers, products, product line, getting products to site in time, people, deadlines. Yeah, it's a constant. You're just juggling all day.
I'm with you for a lot of that. Before we end, and I really loved everything. I think you already had given a lot of like important information, pearls that people can take in their own business. But like before we go out, I want you to share something that maybe for you has been the most important teaching that you have learned through your business career, like something someone has given to you. But I want to share that with people who are listening right now.
Yeah, for me, I feel like I'm such a late bloomer. I'm such a late bloomer in business, and I was like, I had my head down, and what I mean by that, I was just like, I just need this means to an end. I like what I'm doing. I'm going to hang TVs. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go get money, blah, blah. I didn't pay attention enough. This is just me personally. This might not even translate to other people, but I didn't pay attention enough, big enough to the industry I was in. I didn't realize like for the longest time how big like this industry was and how big and how I could infiltrate and get up to the highest level with some of the bigger guys. You know what I mean? I was just like, I'm a dude hanging screens, making money to feed these kids. Yeah. And then it started getting bigger. And I was like, oh, wait, this is almost like a real business. Wait, I have a project. Oh, wait, now I have payroll. Oh, wait, now I have a car. Oh, we just bought a building this year. Right. And on your way, if I didn't take the time to look back to see how big the space was for me personally, I didn't realize like how big, who's at the highest level. How did I get there? I just didn't take time. And when I started, there wasn't as much internet and stuff as you could see now, like YouTube, and you get a lot more stuff out there. So it was a little different back then. And now there's like a lot more access, but I would say that going to conferences, going to meet people in conferences really helps me. Spending time in that, spending a bunch of my free time on learning new things about the products, seeing what's coming. Am I selling something that's going to be going away soon? Am I just married to this product because I really like it? Or is there something better out there? Even if I like one thing, I still want to know what the competition is so I don't get left behind. Tech changes so quick. You know what I'm saying? You gotta follow it, like so I try to see what's out there, see what's better, see what am I missing, see what's going to be coming in the future, because I've pivoted over the years, just not just from like residential to commercial, but even what I sell in commercial, even how I sell and stuff in commercial, and what like installing LED to me is like, it's like a high-end product. It's super niche. You have to like be very delicate. Not anybody can do it. Right. And I wanted to get to that level on training and certification and putting a ton of time into that. And uh, doubling down onto that niche is what I was doing and getting into those markets for me. And so I think that for me personally, just my own lesson is I wasn't paying attention to the market as much, and until I got later on. And then I know you asked me to like say like a final thing. Like I would say that you hear like Alex Hormozy or Gary Vee or any of those people talk, and they'll like sometimes they'll speak like in general, but I do think that if they say a certain thing that maybe doesn't translate to someone who hasn't like started a business yet, but I do believe if you don't love what you're doing, if you don't like love it, and you're just chasing the money, you're never going to get the money. You're just going to quit. You're just going to give up. And so if every day, no matter what, I was just going to make like a little bit of money. And I was just hanging screens and I was doing fine. I still love to do it. I would still keep getting up to do it. And then you got to find people that love to do that type stuff too, to be around you and teach them how to do that, you know? So, and it's hard to find what you love and still make money at it, you know? It's like, yeah, I didn't know how much I loved in the beginning, you know, like I said, it was like, I'm like a late bloomer to it, you know, to like business and getting to where I'm at. And, you know, I'm still not even where I want to be. I still have like the craziest goals oh, another thing that helped me besides that, besides seeing the stuff is finding like local mentors. I never really had like, and when people say mentors to me, it's like, oh, they're sitting with this guy weekly and stuff like that. I just have people that I would go see who own bigger business. Oh, I joined Entrepreneurs Organization, EO. Have you heard of EO, the Entrepreneurs Organization? Well, if you look up EO, there's like a global thing of entrepreneurs. So you have to like to join, you pay like X amount to join. You have to prove you've sold X amount and you've been in business for so many years, and you get to go to these groups with other local entrepreneurs. So there's like a Sacramento chapter, San Francisco chapter. I should have joined these things a long time ago because those literally help you like skip so many levels. Like even if it's not about your business, even if it's just in life or like buying a building or buying a house, you're in these groups and someone's like, I've already bought 3 buildings. This is the dude. This is the thing. This is don't do the SBA loan because this sucks. Do this thing. Like you get to skip a ton of stuff, right? And so as far as like leveling up quicker, I would say like going to those groups or meetings or find someone who's like way ahead of you. And just for me, I didn't pay attention enough to like my industry as a whole. But yeah, entrepreneur organization is good and anything like that. There's I can't think of there's another one. Do you ever watch My First Million, that podcast?
I think I watched one episode. Yeah, I don't. I'm not watching like constantly that one.
Constantly, yeah, yeah, but they're pretty good. And one of the hosts has his version of EO. It's called Hampton, and it's the same thing. You could join a bunch of groups. I think they have online and in person now, and so you can. It's like a group of CEOs, and then you could sit there. You get to have meetings, and they have different topics, or you have to like talk about certain things and stuff like that. But like definitely getting around other people, even if they're not in your industry, it's better if they're not in your industry because they're not competing with you, and you get to see how they've what software have they used, what did they do when they got to this point, how did they solve payroll at this point. You know, I think like getting around that to figure it out before you hit that wall and you're not scrambling, really just being like business aware. I should have done like a ton of that a long time ago. If they like, I would have been like way farther ahead if I got like all that education earlier. Yeah, 2020 hindsight, of course. But
Yeah, that's a great. I think I love that community is important. Even like locally, there always you can find the chamber of commerce too. That's like sometimes they are different from cities. Some they're better, some they're like not the best. But like uh I mean, you can check it out, see, like normally checkout are free, and then if you want, okay, there are like also different city. For example, like when I was living in Colorado Springs, there was called Wellspring, was another a thing similar to what you say, like was also like the same, was like CEOs and everything. um in that case was specific more for Christian entrepreneur. But yeah, I love that. I agree with you, like just be around them. um was not just good to know for knowledge, but also for motivations. Like if you had a hard week, just going like once a week or once every 15 days, it just like would like refresh you. It's like, oh, okay, there's other people. You see other people doing great. You can speak with them. Sometimes you can share your own problem, and then like they're like, oh yeah, man, no worry. Like, let me help with this. Like, try this, and everything. They have the right connection.
exactly, that's what helps. Like you might be in a room with the guys doing 3 million, or you might be next to a dude who does like 1 billion in sales a year in some of these rooms in some of these places, you know. And so yeah, it's pretty good. I would say like, you know, get into those and you know, keep your eye out on what's moving and what's changing. You know, don't get stuck in some old tech that's about to be replaced by AI too. Or something, you know.
I love it. Yes, it's actually that's another interesting word there, because I see both sides. I see some things as being replaced, and then some things people are like, we really don't like this AI. They're going back to manual. They're literally like they're going even more manual. They're like this is AI is not gonna do right, and they're like fighting to be like, okay, we keep it manual. And I think there's gonna be a certain balance at one point, like where not you have to keep some things manual because they need to be some type of like another level of differentiate human interface, and then like and a lot of other stuff would be AI. Now, as you say, you have to be open eyes understanding where you have to position yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to get left behind either, or all of a sudden you're, replaced, Yeah, we do a lot of stuff physical. Our stuff, I think, will still be around for a long time. We still have to pull the data cables. We still have to, like, physical stuff that we have to touch. Like, I still have to build this wall physically. It's a gentle thing. I have to still get the data cables to this thing. I still got to, like, pull a lot of my stuff, I think, won't be replaced by AI, the physical things that we do for the longest time, until robots are pulling wires. But, but for now, in the near future, the industry we're in is still, there's still AI in our stuff and the cameras and stuff we put in, but I still have to physically put that thing somewhere on a building.
Well, thank you very much, Ben. Thank
Yeah,
you
thank
for
you.
joining me in the podcast. Really love that. And for everyone else that is in podcast, I have some of your information. We will have that in the comments for people that they can follow you.
Yeah.
They can find your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And again, thank you very much for
Yeah.
everything. And everyone else that's listening, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, add like, and comment with what was the part that you loved most of this video and what you learned. And have a blessed day, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you.